first speaker will tell us about the backpack program. I saw him. Oh, there he is.
Good morning. I'm Dane Byers, and among the people who volunteer for the backpack program, did you know that Trinity Presbyterian congregants are trendsetters? The Keister Backpack Program is the oldest and fully functioning backpack program among all the city and county school programs for food programs in the area. In fact, the Trinity program was born here in our kitchen more than a decade ago. Since then, these backpack programs have been quite an item and have now become part of the educational system within both Harrisonburg and Rockingham County. Trinity has graciously continued its commitment at about $2,500 worth of seed money each year to both Keister and Bluestone school backpack programs. That is roughly, once we get going during the school year, about 100 bags of very nutritional groceries that go home each and every week to needy students and families. The way we find those families, of course, has everything to do with the school counselors, and the liaisons who work at the school between families and their staff identify students who are of significant need. We have many more families that have the same kind of need. In fact, this year, as you can imagine, the need is at its highest level since we have been doing the backpack program. In fact, we use the free lunch statistics that are associated with the school system to gauge the need in our community. This year, it is nearly 86% of the school children involved or who are at school who meet that criteria. So we only are able to serve so many of these families, and as you can imagine, the need is more acute than it's ever been. Certainly there's an enormous amount of fear out there, so people are having difficulty stepping up or agreeing to be in the program. And of course, rising food costs continue to impact local people and even our program. Here's how it works. We have coordinators in each program, one at Bluestone and one here at Keister, right down the street. Our program coordinator is Tamara Grant, who lives here locally and unfortunately was unable to be here this morning. She, the preceding week, will make we'll look through an online catalog of foods that are available through Hope Distributing. Hope is the group, the nonprofit that is on Port Republic. If you pass the hospital, you'll see it on your left in the back of the Church of Nazarene. So we make an order each and every week. Up until a couple of years ago, we would have to pick up food and take it to our schools. We were able to find a grant that allowed for the delivery of those foods. We coordinate that on Wednesdays. On Thursdays, we have volunteers who come in and pack these bags that go out. Historically, in the last couple of years, we've been able to deliver those bags. That, I think, is something we still have to assess, because there is a certain reluctance now that we see all over the school systems about being identified as needing. So we'll see how that goes. At Bluestone, we send these bags home with the kids on Fridays. At Keister, we're still delivering them, at least since May. This year, we have, again, more fundraising to do, and as we do each and every year. $2,500 is a wonderful start. Thank you for providing that, Trinity. But we'll be doing more fundraising throughout the year. On Trinity's giving page, you have options to give to the program and which schools that you would like to give to. We had a crisis this year that we just found about last week. 3 of our school programs that have been associated with the Rise Church are now essentially unfunded. So Trinity is working on adding a line item so that you could give to that program as well. We'll be doing fundraising for those programs and trying to get them started within the next 2 to 3 weeks. But that's how easy it is to lose sponsorship in this time of significant need. I'll look forward to seeing you out in the Commons, but thank you for the opportunity to open another year of operational work with Trinity's backpack programs.
Good morning. My name is Virginia Healy, and I'm calling a new Marks group called Care Portal. Matthew 25:40 is an appropriate verse for this group. It says, "The king will reply, 'Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these, you did for me.'" Care Portal is an app that connects families in need with churches and community groups that can fill the need in the hopes of keeping children out of foster care and with family members. A Harrisonburg-Rockingham Social Services caseworker puts a request on the Care Portal app, and response teams from various churches can claim the request on the app and deliver the needed resources to the family who needs it. Here's an example of a request. A single mother in Harrisonburg who is transitioning out of a homeless shelter and into her own apartment needs assistance obtaining a toddler bed for 1.5-year-old and a full-size bed for herself. For the toddler bed, she will need the frame, a mattress, and Mickey Mouse bedding is preferred. For the full-size bed, she'll need the frame, a mattress, and bedding, and doesn't have any preference for what kind of bedding. Our Trinity response team could provide all or part of a request. The expectation is to help with 1 request a month. As Dane has already said, the need is great in our community. The national poverty threshold for a family of 3 is $24,860. In Virginia, 10.2% live in poverty, while in Harrisonburg, the rate is 25.6%. In Rockingham County is 10.1%. According to the Harrisonburg Citizen, although Harrisonburg's population decreased by 278 people from 2023 to 2024, the number of households in poverty increased by 356. If you've been looking for a tangible way to help those in need in our community and are interested in helping with this mission, We will meet next Sunday, September 14th, right after the service in the Yoke Room to quickly decide on a meeting time. Join us in the Commons after the service and meet Lauren Yoder. She is our church ambassador, and hopefully she can answer our questions about Care Portal. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Mary Lou McMillan, and I'm speaking on behalf of Centering Space. In Matthew 11:28, we read, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Jesus speaks to a crowd that must be us, weary of violence, political unrest, and injustice, economic disparity, social inequity. The burdens we bear are oppressive and persistent. Can Jesus be serious when he offers rest for our weary souls? Then he talks about taking on a yoke. That sounds like more work. But as Jesus reminds us, taking on his yoke is easy, a good fit. The burden we bear is light because we are connected together to a broader community. The load is distributed in gentleness and humility among many. Centering Space offers physical space for rest and renewal, contemplation, and action. We also provide resources to individuals, small groups, liturgical teams, and the broader community through our activities of contemplation, action, renewal, and expression. Those of us who have participated in Centering Space activities have found this to be true. Our Sunday morning Bible studies group has expanded and our discussions have deepened. Wisdom flows among the members of the group and encourages us as we move into the coming week. The same is true in our yoga community as we gather to renew our bodies and minds through movement. Our retreats have been designed to offer a balance of quiet contemplation and more active expression through dance and the arts. At one of our retreats, we welcomed a young woman who had come to the church house thinking she was to meet someone here. When she realized the miscommunication, she decided to join us. She then volunteered to lead a creative arts session for us at the next retreat. At that same retreat, a participant from another congregation asked about our planning process and declared, "You planned this to offer this because you felt you needed it?" Imagine that, being able to take the lead in meeting your own needs and those of our community. Our offerings touch the lives of many beyond these walls in various ways. What does it mean to take on the yoke of Christ, to learn of him, to be joined with and to others in contemplation, action, renewal, and expression? Centering Space Marks Group invites you to come and see with us. We meet on the third Tuesday of each month at 4 o'clock in the Centering Space Tech Room.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay? Okay. My name is Kathy Gillette, and I'm representing the Closed Closet for Come and See Sunday. We'll start off with Luke 3:11, which reads, "Anyone who has 2 shirts should share with the one who does not have any, and anyone who has food should do the same." Pretty short and sweet. And that was John the Baptist's response to people asking him what they should do to live a life that pleases God. John emphasizes the importance of sharing with those in need and living a generous life. Our purpose at the Closed Closet is to fulfill Jesus' calling to clothe those in need. In addition to providing clothes, we strive to share God's love and serve the very real and tangible needs of our community members. The Closed Closet has been a ministry since 1965, and some people in this room were here then. John, probably a few others too. The Closed Closet has more than 25 regular volunteers from 3 different churches: Trinity, Harrisonburg Baptist, and Muhlenberg Lutheran. Both of those churches have been volunteering for more than 20 years. We also have volunteers who help with special events like Switchover Day, or when we have a need for substitutes. In addition, we have special needs students, along with their teacher from Harrisonburg High School, who volunteered to develop work skills every Wednesday morning. Most of our work happens on Wednesdays. From 9 to 11, volunteers move our racks out and sort and hang our donations. And from 6:15 to 7:45, volunteers are present to invite our clients inside so they can get clothing for their families. Other tasks include washing laundry, thank you, Teresa, mending, thank you, Sarah, coordinating with the community and other organizations, donating to other local thrift stores, making phone calls, and providing statistics and flyers and informational stuff. Over the years, clients who've used our service have later volunteered in this meaningful mission. One of our volunteers sought asylum from Egypt, needed clothes when they came as a client, and now helps out whenever she can on Wednesday mornings. With recent immigration changes, we talked with a client who occasionally comes for clothes for her family. Let's call her Maria. My sister Martha Kleckner and I spent time with Maria to get more understanding of our decreasing client visits since January. What do you know? Maria has several friends who don't go anywhere but work. They stay below the radar of ICE and Homeland Security. With recent increasing ICE activities in our area, these community members are being directly affected by our new administration's changes. Many are frightened to come to the Closed Closet. We discussed with Maria, how can we help? We came up with some ideas, and we will be implementing changes soon. Maria also helped us with some translation to Spanish before we parted. Google Translate doesn't always work. This week I got an email from Maria, and I'd love to read part of it to you. I feel strongly about giving back and supporting others. I'm sorry, it chokes me up. And I believe I could be a value-added volunteer, especially since I am bilingual in English and Spanish. It would bring me great joy to contribute my time, skills, and energy to serve others while also deepening my connection to the church. This week, Martha and I also met with the local Harrisonburg Immigrant Support Group. We will be assisting immigrants upon request if they do not wish to go out in the evenings. We're offering alternative windows to the regular Wednesday evening time so we can accomplish that. In addition, we will be working with their group on awareness of ICE and DHS activity in the local area. Our Closed Closet group is dedicated and purposeful. We love having new volunteers join us in our work. So if you feel the call, please consider joining us and take part in the Closed Closet for 2025. You can contact me directly, and we can talk about your specific gifts and how you can contribute. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Linda Bradley, and I would like to tell you about Hearts and Hands. Hearts and Hands Marks Group focuses on 2 marks of the church, mission and fellowship. We create and share prayer shawls, stoles, lap robes, and shoeboxes that express Trinity's concern and love to persons who are experiencing joys and sadness in their lives. Recently, we also have begun making small pocket shawls that people can carry in their pockets during the day, so that might be your thing. We would love to have you. Guided by Jesus' parable of the mustard seed, which is the smallest seed that you plant in the ground, but grows to become the largest of all garden plants, we engage in outreach to all of Trinity and to our neighbors and friends and family, both in the community and across the world. And today, we'd like to share a very special story about our mission from this year. You may be aware that our beloved Paulo Steinberg's mother lives in Brazil in an assisted living facility. We decided to share a special prayer shawl with her, and Paulo gave us her address in Brazil. I packaged up the shawl, and I mailed it to that address. A couple of weeks later, I checked with Paulo. No shawl. 2 weeks later, no shawl. 4 months later, no shawl. Another month later, a very battered package marked "Return to Sender" showed up on my front doorstep. Although the package itself was a mess, it was crushed and crumpled. The shawl and our card were in perfect condition. But then we found out that Paulo was going to Brazil to visit his mother just 2 weeks later. So guess who hand-delivered the shawl to his mother? And here is Paulo's account of the shawl's second journey to Brazil. My mom, Wilma, was deeply moved by the prayer shawl and card sent by Trinity. Although she lives with dementia and frequently forgets recent things, she often mentions where the shawl came from. She speaks with pride and joy, saying it came from the USA and that church where Paulino plays. To her, it is more than a gift. It's a blessing she holds close to her heart. My mom and I thank the Trinity Presbyterian Church for this beautiful ministry that brings warmth, comfort, and a deep sense of God's love. So Hearts and Hands invites you to join us if you can do so. We meet on the third Monday of each month, either at Trinity or over Zoom. We invite you to join us at our next meeting on Monday, September 15th, that's a week from tomorrow, at 7 o'clock here at Trinity. And please contact me or visit the Mission Fair in the Commons after worship for more information. We'll be glad to talk with you. Thank you.
I'm still Mark Fagnitz. Though my voice is going to seem very different to you, and I do hope I can make it through this. I'm here to ask you to consider being drawn into a mission, or support of a mission more precisely, for it's not our mission, but Haresh and Hamatha Nog's. They've been with us for over 5 years, thanks to the AV room, and I admit that I am chagrined by how long it took me to get to the point of wanting to organize a permanent commitment to their work. At the first chance, they courageously took on these 10 children, whom they call orphans, and that I, tactless curmudgeon that I am, would refer to as discarded children, casualties of poverty, parental addictions, and class, race, and caste biases. They are, as Haresh so eloquently puts it, Harijans, children of God. Their gift to me is the chance to do something that is unambiguously, simply right, profoundly good. I can't hardly express how surprised I am at this point in life that this grace should come to me. You know some of the stories, and in the Commons I will share more. You know about the rain gear that we purchased for the monsoon of 2023. You know about the shoes, coats, blankets, new outfits, and the Christmas festival. that we contributed to last year. You know about Ahan's restorative surgery, and if you haven't seen the video of him running, I can show it to you afterwards. Though we could meet these needs with some creativity, it was clear that both sides would be better off if the funding stream were steady and predictable. So we asked them for a vision, and that too I want to share more of later. But with the seed money promised by Session, $6,000 over a year, they rented the space, and they took in these 10. Some of the younger and more vulnerable among the 46 over whom they keep watch. One Sunday morning, I was sitting over there where Rick is, and before that, at home, I was looking at some pictures that he'd sent, and there were 5 girls sitting on their pretty new bedspreads that were spread out on a concrete floor. And I said to myself as I was shaving, those children need beds. And so I came to church, and sitting in Rick's chair right there, I sent a message to Haresh, and all I said was, anything in particular we could pray about today for you? And a few minutes later he said, the children need beds. Within 2 weeks, those children had beds. And I still haven't quite gotten over that. But I settled down. I said to myself, that's just a coinky-dink, right? Pure and simple, right? Until the next Sunday, when the cynicism was starting to come back. And in Mark Dewey's Bible reading group, we're working our way through Mark, and then bam, there was this. I'm sorry. If anyone would be first, he must be last of all and servant of all. And Christ took a child and put him in the midst of them, and taking him in his arms, he said to them, you can finish it, can't you? Whoever receives one such child in my name receives me. And whoever receives me receives not me, but God who has sent me. If you're a good Trinitarian, or even merely a baseball fan, you know it comes in threes, right? You know to wait for the third bell. For me, my friends, that third bell is ringing for me right now. When I asked Haresh what I might say this morning, he responded, I don't believe you sometimes, my brother. It is our privilege to serve these precious children, and it satisfies our souls to see their smiling face each time we do something for them. And he added, by the grace of God and through your generous support, we have started taking care of 10 children. And with a blessed, reckless audacity, he ended, there are still another 36 children who are waiting to come and join. We are praying to God to open the doors for the remaining 36. No pressure, eh? Each of us could do some of this alone. We could do much more of it together. We can also be, and this is my dream, we can also be the catalyst for gathering beyond our congregation the commitments and resources that have the potential to rescue all 46 of those precious children. And how to go about that endeavor is what I want to address. I'll have much more to say to you after worship in the Commons, and as for a call, after a few weeks of percolating and talking with me, I want to use the Nurture Hour on the 28th of September to come together and see where we are, see how we want to move forward. And meantime, thank you, Dane, there is a button on the church website for the Nabarangpur Mercy House, and anything that goes there goes towards the welfare of those children. So please do give it a thought, and I got through that better than I thought I might. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Paul Sleezer. I'm speaking for our Marks Group Reaching Out. A little bit unexpectedly, I thought other people were going to do this. For scripture, I don't have any particular verse. I'm going to refer you to that theme in Ecclesiastes. There is a time. There's a time to sow and a time to reap. There's a time to build up and a time to tear down, and so on and so forth. Ecclesiastes is telling us that there are stages in our life where it's time to do certain things, participate in certain ways, and that in the course of our life, we may find there's a different time to do almost the opposite. Sometimes they're complementary, sometimes they're opposed. Our Reaching Out house church has been studying a series of books right there, the time for years. And one of the chapters that finally everybody responded to, and we found one sentence that we're sort of adopting as almost a mantra, and I'm going to include that as a part of the scripture. The author said, now it is simply time to spend time wisely. We discussed that, and I had to raise a caution and say that I didn't like spend because I thought that was a little too commercial. I would like it better if it said use time. Somebody else thought maybe it was to invest time. And then somebody else said, well, spend doesn't just mean economic spending, and spend is how you involve your whole self in the economy of living. And so we get back and forth, which is what we do. We're all at a stage where our most precious resource left is time. And we hope to use it wisely and to the best of our abilities. And Reaching Out House Church, our Marks Group, helps us do that, goes about it by trying to incorporate the marks of the church. And each meeting, we normally meet the second and fourth Wednesdays of the month, often at Don Allen's house, sometimes here at the church, sometimes other people's house. We've had several meetings out at English Meadows where one of our members is confined. So we're open and hopeful for more people who'd like to come and join, and we're open to changing the time and the meeting place if it suits you. So I look forward to encountering you at the tables afterwards and share any more of answers to any questions you may have regarding Reaching Out Marks Groups.
I'm Rick Orem, and I'm speaking on behalf of Sanctuary House Church. I'd like to frame my comments using two readings from Scripture. The first from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10, verse 19. You shall love the stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. And from the New Testament, the book of Matthew, chapter 25, verses 34 through 35. Then the king will say to those at his right hand, come, you that are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. Sanctuary House Church was first called in 2017 by members of Trinity who felt a need to provide a possible sanctuary to our immigrant neighbors who at that time were feeling a threat to their safety and security from an administration that was calling for their deportation. Now here we are 8 years later, and that same threat has not diminished but has increased manyfold. And although Trinity does not provide a physical sanctuary in the traditional sense from these external threats, members of Sanctuary House Church do try to provide support in many ways. Some have worked as tutors for Skyline Literacy in their citizenship and English language classes. Some have provided direct assistance to several Palestinian students at Bridgewater College, while others have assisted a young immigrant mother of a severely disabled child by trying to link her to legal support in her attempt to gain asylum and to medical support for her disabled child in the form of transportation to appointments and helping her to navigate the arcane healthcare and legal systems that have eventually provided enormous assistance. Others have been active in communicating with our representatives, both locally and in DC, to express support for these neighbors. And we want to thank Trinity for their support, financial support. There is a line item on our webpage where you can provide direct assistance, financial assistance. At our bi-monthly meetings, we practice the 4 marks of the church. Each meeting is started with a brief devotion, which is usually followed by a discussion of a book that we have chosen for nurture, and ending with a period of fellowship in which we share joys and concerns and provide mutual support where needed. This year, we chose to focus our nurture study on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict by reading the book Decolonizing Palestine, The Land, the People, the Bible, written by Mitri Raheb, a Palestinian Christian theologian and founder and president of Dar el-Khalimi University in Bethlehem. Now I'd like to bring forward Donna Barber, who joined our group this past year and would like to speak on how she has been impacted by her membership in Sanctuary House Church. Following worship, I will be available in the Commons to answer any questions. We hope to welcome new members as we begin a new year. We will hold our first meeting of the 25-26 year this coming Wednesday, September 10th, at Donna's home in Bridgewater. Our meetings usually run from 6:30 to about 8. So I hope to see many of you in the Commons following church with more information.
Hi, I'm Donna Barber, and I'm very honored to say that I've been a member of this congregation for 50 years. I want to tell you the story of how I came to Sanctuary House Church and what it's meant for me. My husband died about a year ago, and soon after Larry died, I began thinking about what was my own purpose in life and what did I feel called to do. I began going to the Wing Fellowship, which is an organization that helps international students at a local college. I was paired with a very nice young man. However, I wasn't totally sure that that is what I wanted to do. But I prayed, I journaled, and I thought about it. And I brought my student with me to a program here at Trinity, August 2024. While there, I was introduced to Nadia Damas, a graduate of a local college and a community organizer. She knew my student, and as she was speaking to the group, she mentioned that her family was the first Muslim family in the community. She told us that she went to Kieseltown Elementary School, where my husband was the principal, and she said, "You know, he took me under his wing." I felt this ripple of energy at that moment, and I knew that I was supposed to work with my international student and other international students as well. But at that time, I still felt very fragile. So I joined Sanctuary House Church because their mission was similar to what I felt my call was. And I hoped that they would expand their mission to include my calling. They embraced both my idea and me. They, along with others in the church, provided my student with work-related transportation. They helped provide food for a pop-up food pantry because at many colleges, they allow international students to stay on campus, but they don't open the cafeterias. And the students usually don't have cars or transportation. And the Wing Fellowship has been providing these pop-up pantries, and Trinity has helped. They had my student come and speak to our group about his home country. They also supported me through the very difficult time right after Larry's death. So this is an invitation to come and see Sanctuary House Church if you feel called to working with immigrants or international people. But more importantly, I invite you to become open to finding your purpose and listening to your call, because the response could come in unexpected and surprising ways. Thank you.
I'm struck that God, in God's wisdom, has put this in alphabetical order, but has associated us with immigrant issues. Hello, I'm Andy Sale, one of the Vanita leadership team, which quite frankly grew out of the Sanctuary House Church. Vanita stands for Valley Area Network Immigrant Transportation Assistance. It also, we kind of say in Spanish, the little car, Vanita. What is Vanita? It is a ministry of Trinity Presbyterian Church shared with several other area congregations in partnership with 5 area immigrant and refugee service agencies, and has existed since prior to the pandemic, providing transportation services to medical and legal appointments with voluntary drivers. Vanita is motivated to service by Matthew 25:40, as Jesus taught. Truly I tell you, just as you did it unto one of the least of these who are members of my family, you did it unto me. For surely in these days and times in our country, when our immigrant area neighbors and refugees are often treated as the least by the politics of our land. And this situation is becoming more critical each day in our area. For they are required to meet legal ICE check-ins, to go to consulates and court hearings in as far away as D.C., Sterling, Virginia, and more recently in Richmond, in order to fulfill required and increasingly stringent and often perilous trips to unsafe destinations in order to maintain their legal status in the United States. Many of these, our immigrant neighbors, do not have the transportation capabilities and are seeking a safe and reliable and friendly volunteer driver service. This is what Vanita does. There are over 22 area volunteer drivers now, several from this congregation, who have already stepped forward to be vetted and available on call from one of our 5 partner agencies. Though through this simple form, Vanita driver application, the form's not up there, but that's okay. This simple form, a willing heart and a good driving record, you might be able also to help out one of the least of our neighbor immigrant and refugee families. I will have a driver application forms and what is Vanita cards available in the Commons today for anyone who would like to discuss and participate in this ministry further. Thank you.
Are there any other calls today? If so, you have a 12-second window. Actually, it's the tradition of this church to consider the calling of house churches or Mark's groups as something that really could happen at any point in the year, but we thought we would cluster this moment of renewal here today. So if not, then let us rise in body or spirit for our hymn of response, which will surprise no one.